taking control or authority through unlawful means, including violence or intimidation, such as having your weapon out in PD, HP, um, or military base. The next charge we're talking about is the 1.3, taking hostages or kidnapping. Taking or holding, which means taking or holding a civilian as security for fulfillment of a condition. Taking a person against their will and holding them captive. 1.4, fatal collision, when a civilian dies from being struck by a car. 1.5, attempted theft. This charge applies when a civilian does a / try to steal and fails. 1.6, robbery of a police officer. This is when a civilian does / try to steal something from a police officer and is successful, or / do steal something from a police officer. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
All right, sir, just stop me if you have any questions and I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Sure.
All right, the next charge we're going on to is 1.7, uncoordinated entry onto territory protected by law, which means a civilian trespassing on territory. If a civilian is to ask to leave and refuses to do so, the civilian is now trespassing from the area. This includes HP, PD, and the military base. 1.8 is collision with a pedestrian. When a vehicle driven by a civilian makes contact with any pedestrian, so a person on foot, and does not die, this charge can be applied. This does not apply if the suspect hits a vehicle. The next charge is 1.9, discharging a weapon in a public place. One state is a concealed carry only. No civilian is to open carry, which means walk around with any firearm out, that's including a taser, pistol, or an AR. 1.9 can be applied to any civilian open carrying in public. This charge is not solely for discharging a weapon. 1.10, bribing a police officer, which means offering or giving something of value, favors, money, gifts, etc., in hopes it persuades the officer's decisions / actions. 1.11, murder of a civilian or police officer. This charge is an automatic charge that applies in white zones, so neutral zones. This charge is only to be applied to a suspect if you witness a civilian / police officer being murdered in a red / green zone. 1.12 is assault on a police officer, so hitting a police officer with your fist. This charge is an automatic charge that applies in white zones, neutral zones. This charge is only applied to a suspect if you witness the assault. This includes being run over by a car, shot, punched, etc. And again, this is in green and red zones only. And that concludes our criminal charges. Any questions on the criminal charges?
No, sir.
All right, the next section we're going to be going over is our civil charges, which is 10-minute charges. Also, criminal charges carry a 20-minute penalty per charge. So for the first civil charge we're going to be discussing is charge 2.1, harm or damage to state property. This applies for any damages to state property, hitting, shooting a police car, tagging walls that belong to the state, or running over street signs or poles.
Okay. So, one question is like, so if they spray paint, you know how they be doing the gangs be spray painting the little thing on the wall, so they get a charge for that.
Yes, sir. That would be if it's a state-owned facility, such as PD, HP, or the military base. That would be damage to property if they spray paint it.
Okay. Okay. So anywhere else, like just a random spots and stuff, they scrape that.
All right, we'll discuss that in just one moment here next. 2.2 is harm or damage to private property. So this means this applies for any damages to private property, hitting, shooting civilian cars, tagging private houses or businesses. So something that's not state-owned. 2.3, false calls to police and or emergency services, which means calling 911 and making false claims of emergency or intending to mislead authorities or medics or wasting the time of medic staff and PD staff. The next charge is a 2.4, debauchery. This means turning on music after being asked to turn it off, spitting in someone's face, etc. Going to the extreme for pleasure, for example, drug use, alcohol use, sexual activity, playing music after being stopped, asked to stop, un- unrestricted behaviors, so toxic behaviors, slash try to see if name is. So you would do slash try and enter their name and see if they are driving on their in under the influence, or slash try to find illegal drugs on person. 2.5, murder or murder threats. This applies for civilian murder. If you witness a murder, you can apply this charge. This charge also includes any threats of murder. 2.6, insulting a state employee. This calls under a broad umbrella of things. So harassment, bullying, unwelcome verbal misconduct, or any cursing towards one individual person. Not insulting employee if directed at the entire faction. This is more for a personal verbal attack. So for an example, if somebody called you stupid, that would be a 2.6. The next charge we're going on to is at 2.7, extortion, demanding or receiving something of value, money, favors, etc., under the threat of harm, death, or exploitation.
Okay, okay.
The next charges we're going over is administrative, so 5-minute charges, which means each of these charges carry a 5-minute jail time. So the first one we're going over is 3.1, resisting arrest, which means intentionally preventing or obstructing a police officer from making an arrest by using force, running, struggling, continuously moving far so charges can't be applied, refusing to comply with orders, refusing to sign slash accept citations, etc. 3.2, disobeying a police officer, intentionally refusing or failing to comply with lawful order or direction given by a police officer. This can include refusing to pull over or stop, does not have to be vocal, failing to provide documents, ID, and information requested, refusing to sign citations, giving false names, fleeing, and attempting to escape. 3.3 is aiding the resist of arrest, which means helping a suspect avoid arrest. If a civilian tases you to help a suspect get away, gets in the way of the suspect, uses their vehicle to block you from getting to the suspect, crashes into you to make you lose control during a chase, etc.
Okay, okay.
3.4 is violation of traffic rules. Any offense committed while driving a vehicle, speeding, driving on the wrong side of the road, hitting signs, poles, crashing, redeeming, running stop signs, or drunk driving, or etc. 3.5 is assault on a civilian, so hitting a civilian. This is applied if you witness a civilian hitting or shooting another civilian. This includes a driver who runs over a pedestrian. 3.6, refusal to present requested documents, which means if a suspect refuses to give you any document, license, passport, gun license, vehicle specs, etc. Do you have any questions on these violations?
No, sir. I understood everything.
Perfect, sir. Mr. Harlem, would you like to go over our macros today?
No, sir. No, I understood. I really understand all the macros, but I understand though. Yeah, I understand. Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
No, sir. No questions, but I understand. Okay, okay.
No, sir.
Alrighty. So I see a couple things here. Um, so for one, in the macros, this is something really small, but it's just bothering me. On number 5, it says slash me. Hello, my name is insert rank and here. So I think that's a typo or something because I don't know what and here is. And then another thing I have is in the Miranda rights, it says you can be provided. It says, let me reread this. It says you have the right to an attorney present while being questioned. I get that's for okay, so I get that's for role play purposes, but we can't even have attorneys. But I get most of the Miranda rights. It sounds really good. But we can't even have attorneys in this game, so I don't know. Um I'm still gonna use it. It's just something I wanted to bring up to you guys. Maybe you guys can give me some feedback on it. But we can't even have attorneys, so just wanted to say that.
Yeah, of course. So that's to keep it as realistic as possible. As you know, here in one state, we like to stay in RP and keep RP as realistic as possible. And by doing that, we include the attorney macro. Everybody knows they can't really have an attorney. It just makes it a little bit more realistic.
But I did hear about the new update. It's supposed to be opening up City Hall, so we can have that.
Oh, I hope so. I would love nothing more than to actually RP a court system.
Yeah. Have y'all seen updates and stuff that they posted or whatever? Or you can go to YouTube and type in update on one state RP, and it'll show you the what they're gonna be bringing new to the game. No sir. Okay. No sir. Okay. No, sir.